Whether we like it or not, the 2004 feature film White Chicks has been a huge part of pop culture ever since it came out, but in recent years, it has suffered some flack for being majorly inappropriate. But the film's major star, Marlon Wayans, is having none of that. In this video, we'll be looking at how he defended the film and some other wonderful tales he shared along the way. Starting off with his defense for the film that launched his acting career. While doing the press tour for his recent Netflix film, The Curse of Bridge Hollow, there was one question Wayans kept getting, and that obviously had to be about his most famous film, White Chicks. For those of you who don't know, the film follows two undercover FBI cops who pose as white women to stop a kidnapping plot. White Chicks has given us so many wonderful one-liners, Halloween costumes, and playlists that its hold on the world is undeniable. It's also gotten recent popularity as part of the Y2K craze. EW ended up calling it a surprise summer classic back in 2020. But with all of this popularity, there were also calls to cancel the film online. Many people from the younger audience believed the film promoted things that are no longer tolerated. Well, when BuzzFeed asked Marlon Wayans if he thought he could get away with making the film in 2022, he was pretty clear about where he stood on the matter. The 50-year-old actor passionately defended the film and worried about where society was headed. He insisted movies like White Chicks are needed now more than ever. Why? Well, he thinks a world where everyone's afraid of getting canceled or censored definitely needs movies like White Chicks. To him, the world had turned into a very sad place that needed more laughter. So the short answer was, yes, he would love to make the film again. Maybe we'll get a sequel out of this. Let's hope. Following up with what he thinks White Chicks would be perfect for. This wasn't the only time Wayans spoke up about his love for the 2004 comedy film. He's defended the film many times before, and in one interview with EW, he explained why he loved the film. We may all have our reasons for loving the film, but to the lead actor of White Chicks, there are a lot of things that made it a revolutionary film. The American actor explained that to him, the film made fun of white chicks, but they're the ones that laughed the loudest. To him, that was a major victory since the group the film was making fun of was also in on the joke, and got to laugh along with it. So they were both equal opportunity offenders in that case. The star claimed that white chicks themselves ended up loving the film the most, and he's not entirely wrong since it gained a chick flick status over the years. There were many layers to this chick flick, which Wayans laid out in the interview. He stated that the film touched upon issues around race, gender, and pop culture, and what made it so impactful was how these tough issues were presented in such a funny and lighthearted way. While we're not sure if someone's based their PhD thesis on White Chicks, it has definitely been a part of popular discourse. There's one thing for sure, the American comedian is not changing his jokes for anybody. He made it clear through this interview. Let's take a look at what he said about cancel culture. While speaking about the criticism around White Chicks, Marlon Wayans also expressed his views on cancel culture. He put up a brave front for the critics and claimed he would not change his jokes for anyone. The star specifically mentioned Gen Z and claimed his art wasn't even for that generation. Marlon added that he's received a lot of advice on his comedy, but he's not listening. To him, it's these critics and executives who fear telling a joke. But to him, the joke matters, and he's gonna tell it his way. He called it the wrong joke and claimed that in his family, those jokes are the jokes that are the best way. Apart from that, Marlon also accused these scared executives of chasing after money and fame. For him, those things didn't matter to his art. The American comedian was pretty comfortable with the audience he had gained. As he stated, this audience will always support and defend his art, and that was enough for him. He wants to make his audience laugh and have a great time. Well, the reviews of his recent film, The Curse of Bridge Hollow, don't really show that happiness from his audience. The horror comedy movie has only gotten 46% on Rotten Tomatoes so far, and has been called scarily unoriginal by Express magazine. Collider magazine mentioned how it only gives the audience a few chuckles, and other than that, has no comedic material. Moving on to how he's changed his comedy. In the same interview, Marlon admitted to changing his comedy to include a bigger audience. When asked why he made a kids' Halloween movie, his answer was simple: maturity. The 50-year-old star plays a father and a teacher in the Netflix film. He claimed that for the longest time, his humor was that of a 19-year-old, and one day, he just woke up and believed he had grown up, and to him, that meant growing his audience as well. But that meant he had to go back in time. He called it growing backwards. The star confronted his memories to search for what movies and shows he loved as a kid, and that gave him The Curse of Bridge Hollow. The comedy in that film was one of the toughest things he had to do, but he took it as a challenge. So does that mean we'll only be getting dad jokes from him now? Definitely not. He confirmed that there will be more raunchy stuff later on. Let's look at what White Chicks star shared about Biggie and Tupac. This press tour keeps giving us amazing insights into the life of Marlon Wayans. As much as we've missed seeing him on the big screen, we've also missed his interviews. There's just so much he's experienced from being in this industry for 3 decades. While promoting his new movie on The Late Show with James Corden, he touched upon his friendship with two of the most iconic figures in American rap history. The host, James Corden, brought out a photo of the Notorious B.I.G. and and Tupac. This photo has gained a lot of popularity because of the rivalry they had with each other. To see them brush shoulders and smile one night was quite rare. But what made the photo even more special was a tiny detail that we've missed. In the corner, Corden pointed out a young Marlon Wayans standing with them. That's when the American star launched into storytelling mode. He explained that he'd become friends with Tupac since they had a mutual friend who was fellow actor Omar Epps. The two also appeared in the movie Above the Rim together, so he went to see his friend Tupac perform at an old club downtown, and Biggie performed that night too. Wayans called it a really cool moment to see the two up on stage together. They even hung out and smoked together later on. It's nice to get an insider's view of this iconic picture, especially considering the rivalry they had. Wrapping up with more story time from Wayans, Marlon revealed some other shocking stories related to the two iconic rappers. Both Tupac and Biggie suffered deadly consequences of their rivalry. Both of them were killed just months from each other. But to Wayans, both of the deaths severely impacted him as he admired both men. And what made their deaths even more difficult to process was how he'd met them just moments before their deaths. The 50-year-old actor explained that a couple of months after this photo was taken, their rivalry began, and one night at the Vibe magazine party, he met Biggie. The rapper praised his work and his family as well. The two shared a heartwarming interaction together as they both admired each other. Marlon stated that just 10 minutes after meeting Biggie, he heard gunshots outside, gunshots that killed Notorious B.I.G. Wayans narrated another crazy story after that. He claimed to have met Tupac in Vegas one night with their mutual friend Omar Epps. Marlon explained that he even hugged Tupac before saying goodbye to him, but they soon parted ways. Marlon, along with Omar Epps, got into a cab, and Tupac was surrounded by people and had to get into his BMW. Marlon described a tender moment where he believed the look Tupac gave him meant he didn't want to leave. He wanted to get into their car instead, but fate had other plans. The rapper got into his BMW, and just 20 minutes after that, news about his murder reached Marlon. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think of Marlon's comments about white chicks? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.